All right, today in front of me I have 3 knives from SRM. Now this one I've already reviewed in the past. It's one of my favorite knives, under $30, and I asked and they sent me 2 more to go ahead and review. So let's get right into it. So this knife really impressed me. For the $30 price point, when I reviewed it, having an ambidextrous locking mechanism that's easy to manipulate with a fully ambidextrous clip, this was actually quite a good knife. It had a great blade in D2. I was generally very happy with it. And they saw the video and asked me if I would like to check out a couple of more knives. And they sent these 2 along. These are the ones I was most interested in. Now, they are very different. So this is basically an MSRP of 50, so it can go a lot less in D2. And this is one of their higher end variants. So this is a full titanium frame lock knife in N690 with titanium backspacer, G10 inlay, front flipper, and what a blade. Very, very pretty. I'll talk about this in just a minute. But this is the one I ended up carrying the most. Why? Because, well, it's really enjoyable, and for what is just under a 3-inch blade, it has one of the most comfortable handles that I have experienced. They have done some magic with this pocket clip. It's fully reversible, and it's also hidden, so you don't have to worry about screws protruding or anything like that. And it sits really, really nice in the pocket because it is so flush, but I still don't have an issue getting it in there. It has, once again, a fully ambidextrous lock mechanism, similar to the Axis lock. It's another Omega spring style lock. The blade is D2. This one is coated. There are other variants that do not have the coating. So let's get into what I like about it. So I really like the handle. I love the blade shape. The stock's a little thick, but because it's like a really high flat grind, it's not really an issue. It worked very well in all the usage I had, so I don't have any problems there. The big issues that come up with this knife is in the coating. So I would not necessarily recommend the black coating. If you do get it, just get the non-coated variant. This coating is not sticking on very well, and it's going to wear off very quickly on you. So unless you don't mind that battered look, go ahead and get the stainless steel version, the plain version. But I'm really, really happy. I love the way this functions. It's incredibly smooth. In some ways, it's almost smoother than the Benchmades that I've worked with, which is crazy. And I think the reason is in all of these ambidextrous locks, they have not 1 but 2 washers. So there's I believe it's a phosphor bronze washer, but they also have a nylon washer. Now that makes it very hard to do the trick of disassembly with this because you have 2 washers on each side, but it does make it very, very smooth. So I really do appreciate that. It is a beautiful knife and just a really comfortable one. And the edges are much nicer, I think, than the cheaper variant. Much more comfortable. So I was pretty happy with this. Now this is not on Amazon. If I can find it, I will put a link down in the description as well as the model number. The other thing that I wish SRM would do is they would get rid of all of these weird numbers on it. I think that knife people prefer minimal branding. I think that this, with a couple of hidden numbers right here on the inner edge, like you have the D2, would have been ideal. That's where I would have put it. I really don't like it when they do these big branding names on them. And I'm not the only one. It's not like anyone says, you know what I really want? Big names on my knife. No one says that. They might be okay with it, but no one likes it. So it's an easy thing to fix that really would make a big difference. And it has a really nice pivot collar impression that clearly indicates who the knife is from. Now, let's move on to this thing. This thing is truly beautiful. It's actually not something I expected. I thought it was just really cool, and I thought it would be a neat difference. I did not realize I would love it so much. I'm not the biggest fan of N690, but I know a lot of people do like it. It is a front flipper, as well as being able to be used in Spidey Flick. I just love that blade shape. It is beautiful. It's like a spear point. And the action is actually insane. So let me Spidey flick this. And it Spidey flicks incredibly well. Even from the fuller, you can actually Spidey flick from the fuller if you can reach it. Very, very cool. And the drop is nuts. Bearings, of course, on this. It even has a locking mechanism, which I think it's more of a novelty than anything else in this particular knife. It's a very thick blade stock, but it's still N690. That's not the toughest steel in the world. So the kind of task that you would need to lock a knife blade like that, I mean, it's a little excessive, but it is really cool. And it does function. Basically, when you have it in lock, now you cannot open the knife. It does have a lock bar insert. Lockup is about almost 50%. Now, keeping in mind, these were sent to me for review, so we got to assume that it is the best variation of this particular knife. I did not expect to like this one as much as I did, but it is a beautiful piece. My issue with this particular knife has nothing to do with the quality, because actually with the titanium milled pocket clip, titanium frame lock, lock bar insert, you know, N690, it's an okay value. I think the MSRP is $129. I'll put the exact amounts down below. But that is not necessarily competitive in the market. It's a good value, but it's the question, like, and it probably is competitive. The problem is how does someone find this knife or choose this knife when other knives are equal cost? It's not that the other knives are cheaper. This is probably going to end up being like in the same price range as a lot of other knives. So why would you choose this one over others? I mean, I love the styling. I love the way it looks. I love the fuller cutout and so on. But I don't know what distinguishes this knife in the market. I love the way it looks, but I think the problem is that these budget knives, there's still a lot left in that market to get the right combination. In this genre, the $129, man, you can buy so much for $129. I mean, I think for $10 more or $20 more, you can get a Ritter Hogue for $140 in 20 CV, made in the United States. I mean, this is a very competitive price point. Now, that's MSRP, so this probably comes in, well, let me put it this way. I will put if I can find it, because it's not on Amazon, I will put a link down in the description so I can actually see what it's actually priced at. But I think that's where it's going to struggle. If this comes in under $100, I think that puts it in a category of its own, because rarely will you see titanium frame lock knives with a decent steel in that price point. That's pretty much all I want to say about these. Thanks to SRM for sending these along. This particular knife I really, really enjoyed. And I'll be sending both of these along to some friends who will also give their impressions as well. So you probably will see these exact knives again in the future. Thanks for tuning in, and you guys have a very good day.